So I finally decided just to order another 97 since I liked my Beaver Tail 97 so much. I wanted to get another one before they dried up completely. Not a real popular pattern with people. I don't know why it's a pattern that I really like. I think it has to do with the back spring not being very strong on these knives, and this one is actually a little less strong than my Beaver Tail back spring. But it's not really something that bothers me that much. For the most part, as long as you're using your knife properly, the back spring pressure shouldn't matter that much because the knife shouldn't close on you. Plus, it has a half stop, so it shouldn't close on you anyway. But anyway, I had been thinking about getting another one of these for a while. When I say a while, it's probably been about half a year. And I've been tossing around the idea of getting the jig bone titty version or this yellow rose yellow bone version. One of these came up on eBay and I held the top bid at $75 for like 3 days. And then somebody bid it the whole way up to 106. And I'm like, look, if I'm paying $106, I'll just buy one from a dealer. So I went over to Collector Knives and picked one up from Collector Knives over there from Michael Latham, I believe his name is. Um, so I got one from him. He doesn't, I don't know if he makes stickers, but he doesn't ship stickers with his orders. Kind of wish I had a collector knives sticker, but I don't. Um, he also has them still, traditionalpocketknives.com. He still has some. A lot of the dealers still have some of these because, like I said, they're not very popular. The action on this one, as I said, is a little bit less um, nice than the action on my beaver tail one. But, it's right up there with like case for the most part. So, I mean, it's a back spring that will hold the blade open and everything. So, I'm really not that concerned about it. This one is this yellow Texas rose, I guess. And I really like that etch on the blade here. Right above that etch, you'll see it is rubbing the liner a little bit. Let me show you why it's doing that. Um, so these are ground with like a saber grind instead of the full flat grind like the titty versions of these are. So it sticks really close to the brass liner. And I think the centering's off just a hair and it just rubs the liner on this side a little bit. It's not the end of the world for me because I'm a person who uses my pocket knives. So it'll get scratched up and everything anyway. So it's really not that big of a deal. Um, as you can probably tell from the high polish on this blade, if you know anything about Great Eastern Cutlery, is this is a Northfield version. My other one's a Titty. Like I said, my other one's the Beaver Tail Titty version. These were made in 2019. They've been around for almost 2 years now, and you can still get them, so that's cool. Um, this one's got two. It's got a long pull, and then it's got a nail neck up here. Whereas the beaver tail one and all of the other titty ones only have the long pull. They're also full flat ground. I should have probably just gotten out my beaver tail to show the comparison, but I didn't. This one also has lined or threaded bolsters, which is kind of neat. Nothing's different about the cap on the end. It's got this cool rose shield. So I have one with a beaver shield and one with a rose shield. So I went for having the cool, unique shields, I guess. The ultimate reason why I decided to buy this one over the jig bone, because generally speaking, I prefer jig bone as a cover material on most pocket knives. But the ultimate reason why I did this is because Great Eastern Cutlery really doesn't do too many like colors. Usually it's just their like antique yellow jig bone, I think is what they call it, which is what the jig bone version of this was. And I already have an example of that with my Huckleberry Boys knife. And I was like, you know what? I'd kind of like to have a bright yellow bone covered pocket knife. So I was like, I'll order the yellow rose bone version. Um, Plus, this way I have an example for a titty knife and an example for a Northfield knife of one of my favorite patterns. Um, But yeah, so if you are looking to get into Great Eastern Cutlery and you're not looking to pay eBay prices for these or any kind of secondary market prices, you can still get these 97s, and I really like the knives. I really like the 97. A lot of people don't like them, I guess, because of the weaker back springs. I'd rather have a back spring like this than the back spring on my 23s, which is like a bear trap. Makes it kind of hard to use like all the time every day because you're afraid it's going to rip your fingernails off. But yeah, so this is my brand new from Collector Knives Yellow Texas Rose 97 with these awesome yellow bone covers and that awesome rose shield. All right, so that's going to be all for this video, and I hope you guys have a good day.